I'm Arnie, actor, professional voiceover artist, and the creator of Zurubang, Ultimate Battle Royale of Everything and More. The almighty creator god Zurubang is bored, so he gathers 8 fighters from any fictional universe you can imagine into his arena and lets them battle it out until only one is left. What you're about to hear is 100% my own voice and my own story. And now, enjoy the very first battle of Season 1. Zurubang, Ultimate Battle Royale of Everything and More. Battle 1. The arena dome crystallizes into existence like a frozen thunderclap learning to breathe. Reality folding inward with the sound of 1,000 champagne flutes shattering in reverse. The white floor stretches infinite and pristine beneath an invisible dome that hums with divine architecture. Zurubang descends from nowhere and everywhere, his golden coat billowing despite the absence of wind. Welcome, you beautiful degenerates, to our first battle of Season 1. Tonight's contestants range from genuinely terrifying to, how did you even get here? He gestures grandly toward the packed stands. And speaking of questionable choices, look at this crowd! The spectators number in the millions, a cosmic ocean of fandoms. Remember, Zurubang announces, all 4 arms conducting the crowd's energy. The fallen don't disappear, they ascend. Every eliminated fighter becomes a star above us. By the end, there'll be a whole constellation up there. And after the final round of Season 1, I resurrect them all for the greatest feast the multiverse has ever seen. Zurubang claps all 4 hands together, the sound echoing like thunder across the arena. A massive holographic display flickers to life above him. Now then, let's meet tonight's contestants. F tier, from the Pokémon universe, Wingull, the screaming seagull who showed up anyway. Pokédex entry, disappointment. The seagull circles overhead, screeching. A small pocket of Pokémon fans applaud politely. D tier, from the Monkey Island universe, Guybrush, Threepwood, mighty pirate, TM. Professional insult swordsman, drowning enthusiast, 10-minute breath hold certified. Guybrush waves confidently to a crowd that mostly doesn't know who he is. 12 people in the back go absolutely feral. C tier, from the Fantasy Zone universe, Opa-Opa, the sentient spaceship with wings, Fantasy Zone's cutest war crime. Opa-Opa floats in cheerfully, wings flapping. The Sega Genesis section breaks into nostalgic tears. From American Folklore, Cactus Cat, spiny southwestern cryptid, whiskey barrel vandal, nature's mistake. The cryptid prouds into the arena, bristling with thorns. B tier, from the Masters of the Universe, King Randor, He-Man's dad, professional second fiddle, beard golds of Eternia. Randor strides in with royal dignity. From the Power Rangers universe, Kimberly Hart, the Pink Ranger, pterodactyl enthusiast and gymnastics to violence pipeline graduate. Kimberly backflips into position already morphed. A tier, from medieval Bestiary, the Cockatrice, 3 meters of instant death, the original petrification lawsuit. The beast stalks into the arena, serpentine tail coiling. And finally, from the Resident Evil universe, Jack Krauser, Resident Evil's knife-obsessed war machine, arm mutation enjoyer. Krauser materializes with his knife already spinning. Zurubang spreads all 4 arms wide. There you have it, 8 fighters, 8 destinies, 1 arena, approximately 7 impending deaths. Act 2. Perception of the fighters. Wingull circles overhead, beady eyes scanning the competition with the tactical acumen of a snack thief. Wingull? Gull? Guybrush adjusts his puffy shirt. A rooster snake thing? A cat made of cactus? A floating egg? And the knife guy looks like he bench presses nightmares. I'm Guybrush Threepwood, mighty pirate, and I've definitely seen weirder. He pauses. Actually, no, I haven't. Opa-Opa hovers cheerfully. Surely friendship will prevail. The fantasy zone has lied to Opa-Opa. Cactus Cat prowls low, processing simple truths. Territory, threat, hunt. The bird is prey. Everything else is competition. King Randor rests his head on his sword pommel, eyes on Krauser. He has the eyes of a man who kills without hesitation. His gaze shifts to the Cockatrice. And that serpent fowl reeks of dark magic. Where is He-Man when I need him? Battle number 9! Zurubang's voice crashes through the arena like cosmic thunder. Randor flinches, looking up at nothing and everything at once. I see. How reassuring. Kimberly drops into ready stance, tilts her helmet at Guybrush. Is that guy wearing a pirate costume to a death match? Guybrush, it's not a costume. Jack Krauser's assessment takes 1.3 seconds. His gaze locks onto the Cockatrice. Now that might be fun. His mutated arm twitches. Act 3. Chaos and Bloodshed. May the ultimate battle royale begin! The arena explodes into motion. Wingull, operating on pure seagull instinct, immediately dive bombs Guybrush's head. Perhaps mistaking his blonde ponytail for a french fry. Perhaps simply choosing violence as seagulls do. Gah, get off! I'm not food! I'm a mighty Stop pecking! Guybrush flails wildly, accidentally stumbling directly into Cactus Cat's path. The cryptid yowls and swipes. Guybrush yelps and pirouettes away with theatrical grace and genuine terror, but not before catching 3 deep gashes across his forearm. Ow! Okay, that cat is not friendly, note to self. Opa-Opa, reading the chaos as an invitation to help, zooms towards the Cactus Cat with cheerful aggression. Twin lasers burst from its tiny frame. Pew pew pew! Scorching across the cryptid's flank. Cactus Cat screeches, spinning to face this new threat, spines launching like organic flechettes. Several embed in Opa-Opa's hull. The little spaceship wobbles, sparking. Across the arena, the real battle ignites. Jack Krauser moves like liquid murder, closing distance on King Randor with predatory efficiency. The king barely gets his sword up on time. Clang! Knife meets blade in a shower of sparks. You fight like a soldier, Randor grunts, parrying a vicious throat strike. I am a soldier, Krauser grins, all teeth. You fight like a king, too much hesitation, too much honor. How fitting, a voice chimes in from behind Krauser. You fight like a dairy farmer. Both warriors freeze mid-clash. Guybrush Threepwood stands there, bleeding from multiple cactus wounds, somehow having wandered directly into their duel and holding one of Krauser's buttons in his hand, which apparently fell off during the fight with King Randor. Krauser's eye twitches. How did you even get here, and why the hell are you holding my button? Randor seizes the opening. He disengages his blade from Krauser's knife and brings his sword down in a devastating overhead strike. Krauser moves on pure instinct, feints left, goes right, and his knife opens Randor's cheek to the bone. The king staggers but doesn't fall. Decades of combat experience keeping him upright. Blood streams into his beard. He counterattacks immediately, a sweeping horizontal slash that would bisect the lesser opponent. Krauser isn't there. He's already behind Randor, boot connecting with the king's spine. Father of champions, Krauser muses, circling, but never the champion yourself. How does that feel? Randor's eyes harden. Like motivation. He charges, a committed, desperate attack that catches Krauser off guard with its sheer ferocity. Their weapons lock. Randor headbutts the mercenary directly in the face. Krauser stumbles back, nose streaming blood, and laughs. There he is. There's the warrior. Meanwhile, Kimberly Hart has engaged the Cockatrice, the only fighter brave or foolish enough to do so directly. Pterodactyl! Her power bow manifests pink energy arrows streaking toward the beast. The Cockatrice is fast, terrifyingly fast for its size. Serpentine neck weaving between shots as it closes the distance. Its eyes lock onto hers. Kimberly dives, rolling behind her own closed eyelids' protection as she tumbles. The petrification gaze passes over her. She feels it, cold and ancient, stone death brushing past her soul. Okay, new rule, no eye contact with the murder chicken. She fights blind now, or near blind, relying on sound and peripheral vision. Her gymnastics training becomes survival, backflip, cartwheel, desperate bow shots fired at claw scrapes on white floor. The Cockatrice screams, a sound like glass breaking in a cathedral, and its tail whips around, catching Kimberly across the ribs. She flies, hits the ground hard, rolls to her feet gasping. Opa-Opa, hull sparking, damaged but determined, makes a heroic decision. The little spaceship turns away from Cactus Cat and accelerates directly toward the Cockatrice's head. It unleashes everything, bombs, lasers, every 8-bit weapon in its arsenal, directly into the monster's face. The Cockatrice shrieks, temporarily blinded, thrashing. One massive wing catches Opa-Opa and smashes the tiny warrior into the arena floor. The impact crater smokes. Opa-Opa's lights flicker once more. Twice. Go dark. Opa-Opa, eliminated by Cockatrice. Opa-Opa poofs into light, rising upward to become the first star in the arena's constellation. But Opa-Opa's sacrifice bought time. Kimberly is back on her feet. Thanks, little buddy. I've got this. She doesn't have this. But she's going to try anyway. Guybrush, still bleeding from his arm, has somehow survived by doing what Guybrush does best, running away while talking. Look, Mr. Cactus Cat, I don't want any trouble. I'm sure we can discuss this like civilized... You can't understand me, can you? You're just a cat, a horrible spiny cat. Cactus Cat lunges. Guybrush, in a moment of desperate inspiration, throws Wingull at it. Wingull, who started dive-bombing Guybrush's general vicinity again, suddenly finds itself flung directly into a face full of cactus spines. The seagull screeches, the cat yowls, and both tumble across the floor in a ball of feathers, spines, and mutual regret. Wingull! Eliminated by Cactus Cat, and gravity and poor decisions. The seagull is a star. Guybrush stares at his own hands. I can't believe that worked. It worked for approximately 4 seconds. Cactus Cat, now furious and covered in seagull scratches, rounds on the pirate with murder in its feral eyes. Oh no! Guybrush runs. He's not fast enough. The cryptid pounces, spiny body slamming into Guybrush from behind. Thorns pierce through his shirt, into his back. He screams, a very unmighty pirate scream, and hits the ground. But Guybrush Threepwood has one skill that has kept him alive through several games and countless impossible situations. He is really good at not dying from things that should kill him. He twists, kicks, and somehow gets his sword up. A wild slash that catches Cactus Cat across the nose. The cryptid recoils, snarling. Guybrush scrambles to his feet, bleeding from a dozen puncture wounds. You know what? I've had it with this fight! He points his sword at the cat with theatrical fury. You fight like a cow! Cactus Cat doesn't care. It just attacks. Guybrush parries, badly, and the impact sends him stumbling. But he's still standing, nodding appreciatively. Okay, so the insult sword fighting doesn't work on anybody here. Good to know. Across the arena, the main event reaches its climax. King Randor is down. Krauser stands over him, knife pressed to the king's throat. boot on his chest. Randor's sword lies 3 meters away, knocked from his grip. "Any last words, Your Majesty?" Randor looks up at his killer with the dignity of a man who has ruled, fought, and loved. "Tell my son. Tell He-Man I don't do messages." The knife moves. King Randor eliminated by Jack Krauser. Krauser flicks blood off his blade, already scanning for his next target. He finds the Cockatrice. Finally, something worth killing. Act 4. Endgame. Remaining fighters: Jack Krauser. Minor injuries, mutant arm ready, eager. Kimberly Hart, Pink Ranger. Bruised ribs, exhausted, determined. Cockatrice. Facial burns, thanks Opa-Opa. Vision impaired, enraged. Cactus Cat. Nose wound, seagull scratched, feral. Guybrush Threepwood. Punctured everything, somehow alive, terrified. Krauser doesn't walk toward the Cockatrice, he sprints, closing the distance before the beast can fully recover from Opa-Opa's sacrifice. The Cockatrice's damaged eyes try to focus, to petrify, but Krauser is too fast, too aware. He rolls under its gaze, comes up inside its guard, and his mutated arm erupts. Chitin and blade become one, a massive organic weapon that buries itself in the Cockatrice's chest. The beast screams, and Krauser twists. Ancient monster meets modern monster, and the modern one is meaner. The Cockatrice thrashes, tail whipping, but Krauser holds on, driving deeper, his other hand finding his knife, plunging it into the creature's throat once, twice, 3 times. The Cockatrice falls. Cockatrice eliminated by Jack Krauser. Krauser rises from the corpse, coated in blood that isn't his, mutated arm retracting with wet sounds. He looks almost disappointed. "Thought it'd be harder." He turns. 3 targets left. Kimberly positions herself between Krauser and the wounded Guybrush. The pirate has collapsed against the arena wall, trying to hold his insides inside. "Pink Ranger," Krauser acknowledges. "Respect? You lasted longer than expected." "I'm not done yet." "Yes, you are." He advances. Kimberly fires, arrow after arrow, pushing her powers to the limit. Krauser weaves through them like they're moving in slow motion, closing distance with terrifying efficiency. She switches to hand, her gymnastics against his military precision. For 30 beautiful seconds, they're almost evenly matched. She's faster, more agile, but he's stronger, more brutal, and he's not even trying yet. His mutant arm catches her mid-flip. Crack! Something breaks. Kimberly hits the ground and doesn't get up. "You fought well," Krauser admits, standing over her. "For a children's show character." "We taught kids to never give up." Admirable. Stupid. Kimberly Hart eliminated by Jack Krauser. Cactus Cat chooses this moment to attack Krauser from behind, a feral ambush born of animal cunning. Krauser doesn't even turn around. His mutant arm extends backward, spearing the cryptid through the chest. "Predator rule," he says, lifting the twitching cat thing. "Always know what's behind you." Cactus Cat eliminated by Jack Krauser. Now there's only Guybrush. The mighty pirate presses himself against the arena wall, sword trembling in his grip. He's lost a lot of blood. He can barely stand. Krauser approaches slowly, savoring it. "You know what I respect about you?" Krauser asks conversationally. "Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're comic relief that wandered into a war zone." Guybrush swallows hard. I've defeated the ghost pirate LeChuck 3 times, at least." "With what? Voodoo dolls and root beer?" "Yes, actually." Krauser laughs, genuinely amused. "Die with dignity, pirate. It's the only thing you have left. Guybrush looks at his sword, looks at Krauser. You know what? He drops the sword with a clatter that echoes across the silent arena. Krauser pauses mid-stride. Accepting death? Smart. First smart thing you've... Oh, I'm not accepting anything. Guybrush reaches into his coat with a showman's flourish. I've been very busy while you were playing knife hands with everyone else. He produces a rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle. Krauser stares. What? But it's not just any rubber chicken. It's dripping with blood. Krauser's blood. From when the mercenary carved through the battlefield. Perched on its ridiculous rubber head is Krauser's tactical cap, snatched during the chaos of the Cockatrice fight. A button from Krauser's jacket glints on its chest, which fell off when he engaged King Randor. And dangling from its neck, like a grotesque necklace. Are those my dog tags? Yep. Grabbed them when you were showing off your arm thing to Cactus Cat. You were very distracted, very dramatic monologue energy, classic villain mistake. Krauser's hand goes to his neck. Empty. Something of the thread, Guybrush announces, flicking the button on the chicken's chest. Something of the head. He taps the tactical cap perched absurdly on its rubber skull. This is insane. Something of the body, Guybrush gestures at the blood-drenched chicken. Krauser's advancing now, knife raised, mutant arm beginning to transform. Something of the dead. He shakes the chicken gently. The dog tags jingle like little bells. I am going to... But one thing is still missing. Guybrush holds up a single cactus needle, still glistening with his own blood. Fresh from my many wounds. He jams the needle into the rubber chicken. Krauser freezes. Not metaphorically. Actually freezes. His mutant arm, half transformed into that terrible blade, locks in place. His legs won't move. His knife hand trembles uselessly at his side. What? Voodoo, baby. Guybrush grins, bloody, battered, and absolutely triumphant. You know what they don't teach in Special Forces? Caribbean dark magic. Very niche curriculum. He squeezes the chicken. Krauser gasps, doubling over as invisible force crushes his ribs. See, the thing about being comic relief that wandered into a war zone? Guybrush limps towards his paralyzed opponent, rubber chicken held aloft like a holy relic. We survive. That's our whole thing. We're not stronger, we're not faster. We're just persistently, annoyingly, impossibly still here. He twists the chicken wing. Krauser's arm snaps backward with a wet crack. The mercenary screams, a sound he probably hasn't made since childhood. Guybrush is nose to nose with Krauser now, blue eyes meeting brown with absolutely unhinged confidence. You're just a guy with a knife and a bad attitude. You can't. Guybrush holds up the rubber chicken one final time. I can't what? Win? Beat you? Well, watch this. The cap slides off. The button pops loose. The dog tags clink to the floor. Guybrush stares at Krauser with the biggest eyes in pirate history. Krauser stares back. Oops. For one beautiful moment, hope flickers in Krauser's eyes. The voodoo failed. The pirate is dead. Victory is... Krauser collapses face first onto the white floor. Turns out being arm-shattered, crushed, twisted, and voodoo tortured for 30 seconds causes damage. Who knew? Jack Krauser eliminated by Guybrush Threepwood. Guybrush Threepwood stands alone on the white floor, bleeding from approximately everywhere, holding a decapitated rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle. The arena is silent. Then, the Monkey Island fan section, all 12 of them, previously huddled in despair, erupts. That's our boy! Mighty pirate! I told you the chicken would work! I told you! The rest of the crowd slowly joins in, confused applause becoming genuine cheers as the sheer audacity of what they've just witnessed sinks in. Zurubang descends. In 10,000 battles, I've never... He starts laughing. Deep cosmic god laughter that shakes the arena. Act 5. Victor. Winner! Guybrush Threepwood! Guybrush sways on his feet, looks at the rubber chicken in his hand, looks at the divine being floating before him, and manages a weak thumbs up. I'd like to thank the voodoo lady, and my wife, and that one puzzle in Monkey Island 2 that taught me to always pick up everything. Any final words for the multiverse? Yeah, one thing. Look, behind you, a three-headed monkey! Zurubang actually turns. Guybrush is walking towards the exit with a huge grin on his face. Zurubang slowly turns back, blinks, his eyes narrow. I can't believe I fell for this. He adjusts his golden coat, watching the mighty pirate disappear. Well then, 63 battles to go. He glances at the pristine white arena floor. Too clean, too simple, a slow smile spreads across his divine face. Next time, he muses, let's add some scenery, because there's always a next battle. This was the first battle of Season 1. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review and subscribe. You have no idea how helpful this is for me in the beginning. And if you disagree with the outcome or the tier list or anything else, also let me know. I'm very curious to read your thoughts. Next week, Buffy will fight the paddle of the card game Pong, and the Pokemon Arcanine will try to rescue a Porg from Star Wars. Until then.